Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on to the Homegrown Happy Hour podcast, Mr. Matt Bartley.
What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man.
Hey, it's good to finally meet you, man. I've been hearing a lot of good things about you.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I would have greeted you with a handshake earlier, but you know.
Hey, it's the new normal.
Yeah, so they say.
But yeah, man, you've been making quite a name for yourself here around the community with all the awesome work that you've been doing. And for people that may not be familiar with what it is that you've been doing, tell us about it.
Well, basically, I've just kind of took it upon myself to offer a service to people who, you know, maybe years in their past ago, I don't know how to put it, but you know, people that have tattoos that are, you know, can
racist,
be construed as racist or you know, insensitive to people, you know. Basically, just kind of offering a service if you want to get rid of it. Like, you know, you can hit me up and I'll do it for you. You know, no cost. Just holler at me.
That's so cool, though, man.
I just kind of put it out there like that, and then it kind of snowballed into, like, you know, media outlets contacting me and stuff. And I'm not the best at interviews and things like that. I'm just trying to.
Don't worry.
Yeah, trying to do something positive.
But what made you want to start doing this? Because I mean, this is quite a big thing to do, especially in a time like this.
Yeah, I got a buddy that does it. He tattoos in Zanesville, Ohio. His name's Billy White, but he's been doing it for a few years. He was like the first person I ever saw that had an open door policy, like, hey, you know, if you hit me up, I'll take care of it for you. So I mean, I got the idea from him. But just with everything going on, I thought, you know, what a good time to do it. You know, right now, with the pandemic and stuff going on, a lot of people are out of work. It's causing financial hardships and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And man, like, I just know that there are a lot of people, and I had talked to people in the past that had, like, you know, stuff like swastikas and the SS lightning bolts, things like that, tattooed on them that, you know, they were real bummed about having it. But, you know, and they were like, man, I plan to get it covered up, you know, whenever I save up enough money. You know, I mean, tattoos are expensive. Yeah. You know, a lot of people have like their tattoo jar, tattoo fund, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
I get it. It's totally a luxury item, you know, non-necessity. But, I just wanted to remove that barrier. You know what I mean? Like, if you want it gone, like, don't worry about the money. Just come see me. Like, you know, reach out to me.
But that's one of the coolest parts about what you were doing, though, man, is it was totally free. Because me and you were talking before we hopped on air here. Yeah, tattoos are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So what made you want to do it for free? And did that? I know that since y'all probably opened back up, you've been slewed with customers. So, like, has it been affecting your normal business too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to where my wife, you know, she works and stuff, so I'm not the sole, you know, money earner for the house.
I get it.
So that helps offset some of that. You know, if I was the sole provider for the household, I might have to do it a little bit differently than what I'm doing it right now. But, you know, thankfully that's not the case. As far as, you know, wanting to do it for free, like I said, you know, as motivated as somebody is to change and you know, what's going to be the easier option? Like, yeah, maybe I'll just, you know, not, you know, maybe I'll put on a longer shirt or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, wear a shirt to the pool.
Especially right now, I mean, you can't be spending $300, $400, $500, you know, if you're out of work or, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty going on right now, you know, as to, you know, you got states that are already talking about shutting back down. We just really don't know. I mean, now's not the time to be spending, you know, $400 or $500 on something that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know where, if you don't know when you're going to get your next paycheck, or, you know, there's just, like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty going on. But I just didn't want that to be an obstacle. Like, if you want to transform your life in that way, like to get rid of some sort of racist tattoo, I'll meet you halfway. Like, I'll make it to where you can get it done. Like, you know, you might just have to wait because there's a lot of people hitting me up about it. But
I was going to ask, how many people have hit you up about this?
Probably like 30 or 40 people. Like, I don't know. Like, it's been a lot.
Crazy. How many have you been able to do so far?
Probably like 6 or 7 so far. I don't know. I actually I had 3 people scheduled yesterday for them. Just so happened I had a break in my schedule whenever I started, scheduling all these. And man, I don't know what the universe just was like not with it yesterday, but everybody like separately hit me up and was like, man, I got car trouble, can't make it, whatever. But I'll get them rescheduled. Not going to be a big deal.
And some of the work too that you've been doing, man, like I'm looking on your page right now. My favorite one that you've done so far is the guy that had the swastika on his chest, and you had the heart with the barbed wire and the arrows through it. Yeah. That's a good
he said
piece
he wanted
right there,
something.
man.
He said he showed me a picture of like a sacred heart with the flame and stuff on it, and wondered if something like that could work. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'd probably make something. And he wanted something to do with his kids. So I was like, all right, well, we'll put like arrows through it and put like.
Is that what the letters are?
Yeah, it's like it's his kids' initials. That's about the only way I could think of to fit all of the kids. Something for each one of the kids into the tattoo. But
dude, I was trying to read that forever yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't have any kind of cryptic meaning or anything. It's just his kid's initial.
But it's still a cool piece, man. And that's another thing about what people probably don't understand. What you're talking about, what you're doing, is like. I mean, you're doing elaborate pieces over
Oh yeah,
these...
dude. I don't want it to be like a cop out. Like somebody look at it and be like, "Oh, okay, he did." Somebody looks like somebody did just enough to cover up something that was there. I don't want there to be a trace.
Dude. Yeah, it's legit. And like I said, the heart one that was killer, and the one that you shared just a few days ago with the skull on the back and the flames.
Oh yeah,
that was really cool too, man.
Yeah, that one was fun. I like working in that sort of like Japanese type of style. So,
so like, I'd say you've had some pretty crazy stories with all these people coming, like talking about why it is that they got it or how they've got it. Is there one that's kind of like stuck out to you so far?
Well, a lot of the people that have ended up with them, man, have kind of a similar. In some shape, form, or fashion, they had gotten some trouble, which led them to be incarcerated. Yeah. And, there's a whole lot of racial politics inside of the, Yeah.
Well, you watch any show about gangs or something, you'll find that out.
I don't know what that's like or, but, I mean, it's definitely an environment in which a lot of people are getting these kinds of tattoos. You know what I mean? So that seems to be a little bit of a trend in it.
I'd say a lot of it too is just family. Unfortunately, especially in the community that we live in, some people's family are kind of stuck in old thinking ways, and that gets passed down through generations too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I seen on one interview where like somebody said their dad tattooed on them. That's wild.
I've actually not tattooed that guy yet, but then that was definitely a thing that happened. Yeah. I look forward to covering that one, but I look forward to covering them all though.
And it's so cool that you were able to do this. So like you said, there was a snowball effect whenever this first started. Was it like instant as soon as you posted? That's when you started just one after the other.
Yeah, it was. Let me try and think of how it went. I think that it was. Yeah, it was Mountaintop Media first hit me up, and then it was WYMT, I think, and then News Express.
Just one after the other.
Yeah, then I got a phone call from the New York Times. I was like, what is happening? What is going on right now?
Oh, did you do the thing with the New York Times?
Yeah. It's an article that came out. It wasn't like about me specifically, but it was just like part of a bigger conversation. But they talked to me about things about the service that I was offering.
That is crazy, man. Did they say how they even found out about what you were doing or anything?
The guy that did the interview lived in Pikeville for a little while.
Whoa.
And I think he saw it on either News Express or TV or something. Yeah, that was crazy. And then I did a live interview with a news station out of Israel.
What?
Yeah, like I'm terrible at interviews and stuff too, man. Like I messed up. I didn't hear one of the guys' questions. Like it's, yeah.
Well, I don't, dude. Even I don't even think I could like brace myself for an interview from Israel. That's
it was
wild,
crazy.
man.
Well, no, it was like totally. Like the dude spoke better English than people I know. Like it was like no, it wasn't even. There wasn't even like any sort of language barrier at all. I mean, like the dude sounded like less country than us. You know, like
Whoa,
he didn't sound like he was from Central Appalachia, but he could have been American. You know, he was very, very, very good English.
Man, that's so cool though. That just an idea that you had off of your friend, and you living here in Pikeville, Kentucky, something that you done has affected the world. I mean, this is another country that this reached out to.
Oh yeah,
that's wild.
It's
man.
Crazy, man. And then there was another news story in Russia where they like translated me. I did that one through a Skype interview in my car.
Oh,
like
did you hear how you were translated or anything? Did you go back and watch it?
I watched it. Like I couldn't even hardly, because
I get it.
I don't speak Russian, so it was just kind of funny to watch. Just like, oh, here's this other voice that's not mine saying what I'm saying in a different language. It was kind of a trip.
That is so. Like, was it like the old Japanese movies, like where they talk and then it's after the
subtitles
fact?
And the overdubs? Yeah, kind of like had that kind of vibe.
That's cool though, man.
Yeah.
And man, I'd say that you're changing these people's lives too. Of course, for the better.
So. I hope so. I mean, that's the goal is to make some sort of positive impact on the community. You know.
Yeah. And another thing that I love most.
There've been a lot of people that they've been so stoked. You know what I mean?
I'd say.
Like,
I've watched some of the interviews, man, and that's what I was going to say is one thing, a really big positive from what you're doing is it's showing that people can change.
Absolutely.
And that they do change. And that's something I think gets forgotten in today's culture, like with the cancel culture, for instance.
Yeah.
Something will come up 30 years ago that happened, they could be a totally different person.
Yeah, absolutely. People change, man. Like you're allowed to be presented with new information and change your mind about it.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, the world's changing every single day, but it's at a rapid pace right now.
It's wild. Like, what does the new world behold? Like, what is it going to be?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, everything's so up in the air right now when it comes to everything. But I do think that it's for the better. No.
I hope so. I would hope so. There's a whole lot of division, and things feel kind of bleak right now.
Mm-hmm.
But my hope is that we'll come out of this on the other side and be more united.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we'll see that happen.
I think that we will, man, because I've seen more positivity than anything whenever it comes to what's going on right now with the Black Lives Matter movement and all that. Because, like, we've had instances like this in the past, but I think that this one has got more attention than any other incident in our history. And this is a worldwide movement at this point.
I think I can't speak to if it's to the same level as like the whenever the Rodney King LA riots thing. I think that it probably is a whole lot bigger now. Yeah. I think the pandemic kind of set us up for it.
Yeah. Well, even then, like back in the 90s, see, like right now is what's helping this movement is social media.
Yeah.
Because back in the 90s, you had TV or radio, and if you didn't have that, you didn't hear about it. With this, it's a worldwide movement, man. And I don't know, you're seeing all races come together, too. We had a rally here in Pikeville, man. That's so cool.
I didn't make it to that one. I did go to the one in Prestonsburg. And then I made it out to Charles Booker came to Pikeville. I made it out to that too. He was my guy. He was my hopeful candidate. I don't get too political, but
yeah, he did seem like a cool dude though.
Yeah, I liked his message, man. And I feel like he was one of the more genuine politicians I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like I got the chance to talk to him for a couple minutes in Prestonsburg and stuff, and it's my opinion that dude's the real deal. Yeah.
And see, that's another thing. Like, this is why I think that stuff is changing because of how close he came.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
grassroots campaign, raised maybe a couple $1 million, took it up against a $41 million campaign, and it was neck and neck. Dude.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, we need to look at that as a good thing. I know stuff is very much divided right now, but we are also more united than I think we've ever been.
I hope so. Again, on the social media thing, I see a whole lot of division too, man. Like it's, and I get that it's all these conversations are super uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be had, though.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how is anything ever going to change if we all just turn a blind eye to it? It's just like, this is a big deal.
Huh. Well, that's why it didn't change for years, because people just wanted to sweep it under the rug, or they just thought that, oh, this was normal. This is how my grandparents thought. This is how my parents thought. This is the way I should think.
Yeah.
And now with social media
I grew up hearing crazy stuff, man.
Dude, yes, I did too.
Insane things.
Yeah, and you know,
that's nothing. That's not me calling out anybody or attacking people or anything, but because we all heard this stuff.
Yeah, and you know, just some people get stuck in the loop of thinking that way. If it wasn't for social media and the internet and just me thinking different ways, or just finding out about,
where would we be?
Yeah, and man, I'd hate to know where I would be.
Yeah, just because, when you get brought into a larger conversation that's outside of your direct line of sight,
yeah,
it forces you to think about things.
And these are people that a lot of times you love and respect, and you think that that's the people you want to be like.
I've had it out with family members and everything. It's been weird.
Yeah.
But, man, I cannot stress how positive everything's been from the community. Like, people hit me up, people who are, lean more progressive, people who lean more conservative,
Mm-hmm.
Telling me that they thought it was a great thing what I was doing. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah. See, another thing that when I knew this was going to be a big thing was when I had like family members that thought very differently than I did, were saying like that was messed up what happened in the instances that have took place here in the last few weeks. There's too many to name at this point. But even they were saying, yeah, this is messed up. And even then I was like, oh, it's different. You wouldn't have said that a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the age of everybody has a camera in their pocket, man.
Mm-hmm. And
you're going to hear about it more.
Yeah, and you're going to see it more too. I mean, that video was so hard to watch.
Dude.
The entire 8 minutes. But
yeah,
and you got to be glad that people were able to see that, because then that brings that reality to your reality. A lot of people, they don't live in neighborhoods like that or cities like that or areas like that, and they don't know what it's like.
Well,
for them to actually see it, that'll change their perspective.
Thankfully in our area we don't have things like that happen. That's a good thing. We would definitely don't want our community to be going through things like that too. But like, there's a reason that we don't have things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't really have. What are we, like 97% white?
It's something
here?
like that.
Like,
it's
I think
pretty
it's
up
something
there.
like 97. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it's just, man.
Yeah. Well, like I said though, with internet and social media, we're starting to see those realities more, and we're starting to wake up. A lot of people are finally waking up and hearing what black people have been saying for years, and saying like, okay, yeah, there is something to this.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely is.
Yeah, there always has been, but some of these people just haven't seen it. It hasn't been in their world.
And it doesn't have to always be like this, that's an insane case of 8 minutes, like, let me...
And then you start hearing like the backstory too. Like, apparently those two guys used to work at a club together.
I don't even really know.
Yeah, there's like some wild. They knew each other.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, like I think I'd heard somebody say something about that. I didn't actually look into that one, but
yeah, there's some pretty weird stuff behind the scenes.
Either way, I mean, and if you take the okay, so if somebody were going to use that as an argument, like, oh, well, they knew each other and maybe it wasn't race related or whatever, there's still a problem.
Yeah.
With that.
No. Man.
If it was a personal vendetta, and he killed him because of a personal vendetta,
That's still abuse of power.
Then how's that any better at all?
No. Whether it was a race thing or not, that's still abuse of power. I have nothing but respect for the law enforcement and people out there.
Man,
But
dude, I tattoo a ton of cops. Like, dude.
But I have a cop family member. He's a cousin, and me and him were talking about it like 2 days after it had happened. And he says, "Man, those cops exist." He says, "But nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop." And that's the thing, dude. I mean, there's one bad apple that spoils the entire batch. And and this.
I mean, and it's bound to happen.
Yeah,
that's why I think that there needs to be something changed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how the inner workings of all this stuff works, but like, there needs to be a lot more accountability. Mm-hmm. I feel like for whenever things like this do happen. Thankfully, they did arrest that dude. Yeah. That's a good step. Mm-hmm. But they need to realize, these bad apples need to realize that they are going to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Before they, use and abuse their power to do what they want to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I totally agree, and I think that this case right here has really helped push that narrative, because now, man, every time somebody's getting pulled over, something like that, they're going to have their phones out, or the police might have the body cams. I think that will help a lot if they have the body cams in place.
Body cams have been great.
Yeah. So I mean, just put more stuff like that, instead of defunding the police, why not let's put some money towards programs like that?
Right. Well, I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, education system's been defunded for years and years and years. It's taken a serious hit, like, just over the years. Like, that defunding, maybe we should not be buying, like, armored vehicles and things like, military grade gear. Maybe we could spend that money, still keep it in the law enforcement spending. Maybe do some de-escalation trainings and different things like that. And like I said, I have no experience being in law enforcement. I don't know, but I know that there's got to be some way that we can redirect some of these funds into making a more positive change. You know what I mean?
Have you seen those robots that they've come out with, the police robots?
I have not.
It is crazy, man. It looks like R2-D2, basically. That's the best way to explain it. And this has been like last year when I seen this. But the policeman puts the robot outside the vehicle, and he stays inside. Well, he or she stays inside of their vehicle. The robot will go up to the car, turn, look at you. It's like a kind of like Skype, like you can see the officer's face from his camera inside of his squad car on the robot that's looking at you. The robot puts a nail strip under your vehicle, so if you try to drive away, it's going to pop your tires. Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they've got your face on the image, so they know what you look like. That's wild. It's been so long since I've looked into that, but I hope that's a thing in some places.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine being pulled over by R2-D2?
Imagine your interaction, you're like, you're just looking at it like, hi, little buddy.
so somebody about to catch their first DUI or something like that, looking at a robot like, whoa.
Man.
Hey, the future, that's the thing, man. Like we were saying earlier, everything is so uncertain right now, and it's just everything changes on a daily basis. Who knows what the future's going to look like?
Oh yeah, it's going to be wild. Evidently Kanye is going to run for president now. I saw that. It's going to be wild,
and it's so real too. I didn't think that it was real. I'm like, oh, he's just being Kanye, he's just joking around. From what I understand, he is completely serious.
For real?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean,
and Elon Musk is backing him now, and
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's the thing about Elon, dude, is whatever Elon wants to do, Elon's going to do.
Oh, dude, that dude has nobody to answer to. No. He just does.
And that's what's dangerous about him. And him backing Kanye, because we know he can. And that's.
Hey man, maybe Kanye's got some good ideas. Maybe I need to listen to him. I don't know. Let's hear him out, I guess.
At this point, let's just put Tony the Tiger in there. America, we're great. And that kind of sounds cool.
Oh man.
I don't. It's the world is wild nowadays,
Yeah,
man.
it's dude, it's something.
Even I know we're supposed to be kind of the young crowd, but even then, man, like I don't understand how some of these kids are growing up, like with the virtual reality and stuff. I have a niece and nephew that are into that. That is crazy. Have you done the virtual reality video games?
No, are they like getting good now?
Yeah, dude, too good, too good. Like I thought I was about to have a heart attack. Like
Like the Oculus stuff?
yeah,
Or-
like man, like I had this helmet on, and they were playing like a Call of Duty something game. It was something to do with war. I was in war,
Yeah.
and I had gloves on, and I could sit there and pick up the gun and the game and
Huh.
dude, it was. And to them, it's so normal. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to play my Xbox. We're going to be inside this game." And
So
I
they're
was
getting to
losing
the
my
point,
mind.
like it's getting to the point now to where VR is going to be like what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
As a kid, like I can't wait till I can just be like,
yeah,
you know, because you saw it in like all those '90s kid movies, you know, like these big crazy elaborate computer systems where they put on the big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like some unrealistic thing.
and that's what's happening. That's the thing, dude.
Oh man,
But
that movie, like or not that movie, but that game. That's the movie with Ed Furlong in it called Brain Scan. You ever see that one?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
You should watch that. It's kind of a VR video game movie from the '90s.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah, you watch movies from like the 80s and 90s, like when they were first getting into technology and stuff, like as far as computers and the robots we're talking about.
Yeah.
Everything that they done in those movies, it's like it's coming to life. Have you watched Black Mirror?
I've seen some of them.
Dude.
That's the one that's kind of like the new Twilight Zone,
Yeah,
kind of right.
yeah.
Like each episode is its own
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
a few of those.
That they have this one on there. And even the creator of Black Mirror said that they're taking some time off because everything that they've said about the show is now becoming real life.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's getting too
There
real.
was that one where the lady, her I think it was her husband had died, and it was like a chat service or whatever. It had read their emails and their texts and stuff, and created an AI version of him
Well, I haven't
that
seen
kept
that one
talking
yet.
to her after he died. And then like there was this extra service where you could send however much money or whatever, and they built you a replica of him, and like
Dude,
crazy.
Yeah, but that's I can see that as a thing. That's I don't see why that couldn't be a thing.
Yeah,
That'll
I
be
mean,
the next
especially
30
the text
years.
service thing. That,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that could probably already happen like right now.
Well, even the craziest stuff that they had on that show is becoming reality. Like something like that wouldn't be hard to do.
No,
But like, see, I think it was the first episode where they had the chip behind their ear. Do you remember that?
I don't know. My wife watches that stuff, and I would catch an episode here and there.
I get it. But what they did was, I think it was the first episode. I forget. But they had a chip behind their ear, and it, like, basically it turned your brain into a computer, and like it stored all the memories on it and everything,
man.
and like you could like somehow wire yourself into the TV and people
That's
could
not
watch
out
your
of the realm of
memories.
possibility, I don't
Well,
think.
here's the thing. See, that came
Did you
out.
get like a heads-up display or something? Like, somehow like.
Well, this was back in 2016. Like
Yeah.
I think something like that. This is when the show first started. I just now started watching it like last month.
Yeah.
But this is when it first began, whenever it was. But so they had that like 4 years ago. Well, Elon Musk, that crazy son of a gun, just a few months ago, he is talking about this Neuralink device that goes
yeah.
on your brain and somehow hits certain receptors, and it's kind of like like jumping your car with a battery. Basically, that's what it's doing to parts of your brains. And he said that paraplegics would be able to walk again. People with dementia would
Be able
have
to
have
have
full
memory.
memory.
Oh,
Yeah, be able to remember everything again. I mean, seizures. People wouldn't have seizures anymore. Epilepsy. He could cure epilepsy, and they're going to start trying it out this year. That's the
Whoa.
thing. And he said like even like they're trying to get night vision. They're trying to work that in there.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
He's one of the great minds of. He's like the guy of our of you know.
he's freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
Is what he is, dude. I mean that's the, and you know he's rich enough. That's the future right there. He knows what he's talking about.
Oh man, he could get this stuff done.
Yeah, and that would be amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're going to get to the point where we're more robot than human, and even he has said that like the next.
Yeah, he said something about like if we don't integrate ourselves with technology like that we're going to become like obsolete or whatever.
Yeah, it's
kind of like the whole Skynet Terminator thing becoming reality, right?
That's what I'm saying is so terrifying, dude. And to some of the kids out there, I mean, that sounds so cool and that sounds like the future. But me and you, man, we grew up on Terminator and RoboCop.
We've already seen the bad side of it play out.
No, everybody forgot about iRobot. I mean, we've seen what happened to Will Smith. Dude, it's getting crazy out there.
Leave it to the action movies to show us how things are going to go.
And a lot of professions, you know, that's what it's going to go to is robotics. But I would say you're good, though. I don't know if they could.
They're working on it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tattoo robots?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's
like,
surprising, I guess.
I don't know that it will ever. I mean, if anything else, it's not going to be cost efficient. Like, you're going to have this big, crazy, like, apparatus, but it's going to have to also be sterile. Mm-hmm. And like,
well, too,
you know what I mean? Like
drawing it
it's
out.
Like you're gonna have all this thing you're gonna change out all these parts in between each. Like they're still gonna have to be hands on. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, even for somebody to draw whatever it is the person is wanting too, because the robot, you can't tell a robot what. Who knows? Who knows? You might be able to.
Yeah, I mean, they've got one that can like pretty much right now can draw like a perfect circle and like perfectly straight lines on your arm. If anything, robotic tattooing, as far as you know, being applied, you know, in actual real world use, would be like some tattooing you with like a barcode or something that you could be scanned or something like that. I don't know why we would want that, but I mean, hey,
dude, anything is possible.
Go back to the action movies again. It could be like something like that. Like you need to have like a.
Have you seen the robots that flip burgers? They got robots that cook now. Yeah, dude. Yeah. You ever seen like where people build cars? You know, like they have like the long arms that put all the parts on the car.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like one of those long arms, and they just have it in the kitchen, and it's doing everything. One arm.
What?
Cooking food.
Cooking food.
Yeah, dude. It's such a wild time. But that scares me, though, too, man, because if we go to nothing but technology and people are out of work, what are you going to do to compensate all those people?
Maybe we're just all going to be like batteries, like on the Matrix. We're just like in a little pod.
I mean, that wouldn't...
It's been played out in action movies, man. The whole thing.
I think the government is just watching like iRobot and is like, okay, this is what we're not going to do because this is how this movie went. Who knows? James Cameron is head of the CIA at this point.
There you go.
I don't know, man. It's just a wild time to be alive. Okay,
it is the wildest.
Yeah, there's never been a time like this, and that's another thing too. Just people don't know how to react or what to do in this new normal.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we don't know when the end is in sight for what's going on with the pandemic. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an election year.
That's crazy too.
Craziness, man. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness.
Then you got people talking about crazy stuff like cryptocurrency and yada yada yada. That was.
I didn't even go down that one.
Unfortunately, I did yesterday. So, man, that's another thing about this quarantine, dude.
I mean, it doesn't sound that crazy. Like, I mean, it seems completely within the realm of possibility anymore, and most things do now.
Dude, I'm a huge conspiracy theory nut. My wife isn't. She, God bless her soul, she is a saint for putting up with me as long as she has.
Did you go down the Paul McCartney, do all that one?
Not exactly. That one was one that was a little bit out there for me. I'm like, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I was kind of nah.
But she's the one that brought up the cryptocurrency one to me, and I was like, well, she's talking about it. There might be something.
Right.
Basically, I mean, well, if they have,
I don't really know the whole deal about that one. What's going on with that?
Basically,
is it like another Bitcoin or?
Yeah, it's just going to be all electronic money. But the thing that would help the government in that is they would be able to control everybody's money. And anybody that, if you were going to have a yard sale, you would probably, how it's illegal to have a yard sale without permission, you would probably have to get it on your phone. That's probably how they're going to start doing it first, is either a phone or electronic card or something like that.
Right. So
you couldn't do any type of illegal activity like that without the government's permission in order to receive money. Yeah, so like if one of your buddies wanted you to tattoo them for like on the side for a little bit of cash, you wouldn't be able to do it because he wouldn't be able to give you money because it's all cryptocurrency.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. And in the long run that will do away with like it will have good effects, like people that sell drugs won't be able to sell drugs anymore. But anything.
Oh, there'll always be a way.
But with cryptocurrency, a barter system, like, hey, I'll trade you some whatever.
Well, hey, I mean.
Yeah, people do it already.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's the thing, man. She's the reason I went down that rabbit hole. Now, that might be a few years down the road, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the powers that be would probably like to push something like that.
Yeah, they would love it. If I was somebody that was trying to control the world, that's what I would do. That's exactly what you would do. Control everybody's money.
Well, yeah. What better way to control people than money, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just a weird world. But even though stuff is so weird right now, stuff is still changing for the better, I think.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of really good stuff happening right now. So, a lot of good conversations that are uncomfortable, but people are talking about stuff, and
and the thing is, people are agreeing more too instead of just fighting. I've never understood that. Why can't you think differently than I do? And I just say, cool, man. That's whatever. that's all you have to do.
Right? Yeah. I mean, civil conversations, man.
Yeah, and like if you even have the conversation and you don't agree, just say, all right, man, you think differently. That's cool. We can still like each other. We don't have to type mean comments to each other over Facebook,
God, there's been a lot of that that I've run across. I don't typically try to engage, in that.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of a couple of times just like, being like, just posting on somebody I didn't even really know. It was like, this is, wrong or whatever. Maybe think about it like this, and then it just turns into this whole big,
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, social media, texting, just anything that isn't face to face, you can't have those type of conversations.
Yeah,
like
there's no context. There's no.
Yeah. Well, you can't even tell like facial expressions or anything. See, dude, I don't even like texting. I like calling people.
Yeah, I could be like, look at me. I own a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then on text, it's like, look at me. I own a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah. Or
you don't know.
Well, it's just the simplest stuff too. Like you can put a period, and somebody's like, "Oh, are you being short with me? Or are you okay?"
No, that's just proper. It's just proper grammar.
Yeah, or like you put like an exclamation mark. It's like, "Oh, are you yelling at me?"
You yelling at me?
Yeah, I mean, like you don't know.
I think you have to put all caps to yell.
Yeah, that's what you do.
My favorite one of those though is this one. It's the clap in between each one.
Yeah.
Have you seen anybody do that one? It's like
Yeah.
a little clapping emoji.
Social media, man, it has been a wonderful thing, but it has also been so annoying.
Oh, dude.
I've really
If I
unplugged,
didn't have
man.
to have it for work, it'd be gone.
Same.
90% of my clientele, that's how they contact me, is through Facebook. So, like, I got to keep it. And I find myself on there. But
Do you get those things at the end of the week that says like how much screen time you've used?
Oh, dude.
Man, that was
So
that was the
depressing.
eye opener for me. Mine was like 5 hours or something like that a day.
Oh, yeah. Well, mine said I was, like, down. Like, he's like, your screen time was down 15% this week. Average of 6 hours a day. I was like, I'm down, and I'm only on it for 6 hours a day. Like, come on, man.
And
what am I doing?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, if I do 5 hours a day, that's 35 hours a week. That's almost 2 days out of the week that I'm looking at my
Almost
phone.
Full-time job.
Yeah, man, that's wild. And especially with all this going on, too, I agree that we need to have these conversations, and there's a time and a place for it. But also, people need to unplug from the media, from social media.
Man.
I mean, like, just get back to reality.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, because some of my family, man, all they do is sit there and watch the news, and it's driving them crazy. And I'll be like, man, stop for a little while. Go outside. Go for a walk. Go out into the real world. You'll see that it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of I feel like there's a lot of people who are getting together and meeting on social media that don't even know each other, but that are actually trying to get together and do things in the community like physically. So that's a cool thing. That it can be used for good and make real positive change. In our communities and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, something's got to happen. And all the fake stuff that people just compile, all the infographics that are so divisive. So bad.
Yeah, and also some people just do it for attention too, just to get those few likes, and then it's like it never existed to them. That's another thing. People like jumping on bandwagons. It seems like
whatever makes
Hello.
whatever makes whatever you're currently doing, whatever justifies that. Here, let me just hit share real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, be active on social media and all that, but also be active in your real, actual life. Because
that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, you sharing a post ain't going to make that much change. The real change is made by getting out into the real world and going about change that way. Going out there and protesting or writing to your members in Congress or elected officials. I mean, getting together and having face-to-face conversations with people. That's where you make the change. But social media, man, like you said, it's just one of the biggest yin and yangs in the world.
Oh yeah, dude. It's crazy.
But I think with people having conversations like me and you are having right now, face-to-face, we can come past some of those differences.
Absolutely. Dude, I'm definitely not the most conservative person you'll ever meet. I have a ton of friends that are. Mm-hmm. We're all cool. Yeah. We can have conversations about stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, and I don't know why it can't be that way. Another thing that I don't like about social media is people are just completely different. Like they just hide behind a keyboard. They're okay. They don't have to... I mean, they can just say whatever they want, do whatever they want.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, but and whenever you see them in person, they just they ain't that brave all of a sudden.
But yeah, I've never tried to put anything online that I wouldn't just tell you.
Yeah,
I'm not really super confrontational type of person anyway. I'll state my point of view, and maybe let. Somehow try to get you to see things from how I view them, or whatever. But yelling and screaming, isn't the way that I usually go about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we still got quite a long ways to go, but I think that we're taking the necessary right steps to a positive future.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that's what I see a lot more positivity than I do negative. It's just all about what you focus on too, man, and that's what really gets lost in the media. I understand that you need to see the bad stuff. Like that video we were talking about, you needed to see that. But you also need to see positive videos too.
That's good, man. I love seeing somebody doing something and seeing positive. Hopefully, with the stuff that I'm doing, hopefully people see that and that's what people have told me, that they were so happy to see something good happening. Yeah. And
especially in our community.
I'm just one guy that's covering up some tattoos. What can this person do? What can that person do? We all have something that we can do to help our fellow human beings.
Yeah.
Or to do something. I mean, anything. anything.
That's what I think our purpose is here, man, is just to help one another. And,
Yeah.
you know, if you can impact somebody's life for the better, then I mean, you can die happy then. Because, I mean, like you.
Yeah, like I try to live my life like this. Like, I think about this a lot, and I don't know. I feel like my motivation is to be remembered as somebody who gave value, like who made a positive impact on people, like who's, you know, basically anybody I come into contact with, I want their life to be better because of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not in some kind of grand way or anything, but like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, he was cool, he was nice.
Yeah. So
Or like, yeah, he was, yeah. You know, like, yeah, I remember him, he was all right.
yeah, you don't you don't have to go down.
I want that to kind of be my legacy.
Yeah, you don't have to go down in the history books to live a good, fulfilled life, man. Just as long as you've had a good impact while you're here. And like you said, whenever you're gone, some people say, yo, he's a really good guy. That's good enough,
That's good enough for
man.
me, man.
Yeah. And, you know, hey, and it's whatever people wants, man, but I'm like you. That's good enough for me. but I think that everything that you're doing is terrific, man. And how long do you think you're going to be doing this for? You said you had like 40 people to get to. That's
I'm booked through like mid-October right now.
wow. On just these type of tattoos?
No,
Okay.
no.
I was about to say, wow, man.
Yeah, they're coming from all over the world, man. No, just like, but putting those into my normal schedule, it has extended,
Yeah.
you know, the amount of time that I'm booked right now.
I get it.
But I mean, hopefully, like, it's my intention to just always offer this service,
Like forever.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and you know, hope and really, I feel like maybe like the media picking up on it and doing like stories on it and stuff. I feel like that's pretty much died down. Aside, this is probably like, I feel like this might be you contacted me because of it. You
Yeah.
know, this is a little different. This is just us kind of hanging out talking.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, hopefully I won't have to find time, because I want to get the, you know, word out there. Like, maybe it'll inspire some people. Like, that's the ultimate goal. It's like,
Yeah.
do what you can. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
you know, if you have the ability to sew or do anything like that, like, or whatever your skill is,
Mm-hmm.
do something positive for somebody else around you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that's going on right now. Like you're talking about the sewing. People around here have been making masks
Oh, yeah.
for people.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who's starting a. I think he's gonna maybe try to turn it into like a nonprofit or something. But right now he's in the development stages of trying to just basically get people together
Mm-hmm.
to go out and do things for the community. I think he's focused on like homeless populations right now. He's really wanting to try to put together supplies for like summertime supplies. Like, it's hot out. Like,
What's his name?
his name's Justin McFall. He's a good
Shout
buddy
out
of
to
mine.
Justin. That sounds like a cool dude.
Yeah, he's cool. He's one of my oldest friends. Like, we went to high school together. He lives in Richmond now. But yeah, I'm gonna try to help him with that what kind of way that I can. He's an awesome dude.
Well, positivity is contagious too, man. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like
absolutely,
you're
man.
saying with what you're doing right now. If somebody sees that may encourage somebody else to do something good. Yeah, I think that everything is contagious, man. If you put out positive energy, you get what you give.
I'd like to think it works that way. That's kind of how I mean, I have a pretty happy existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I maybe that's because I try to put out positive energy. Hopefully.
Just who would have ever thought that you'd be fighting racism with tattoos?
Hey, do what you can with what tools you have, man.
Is it tattoo artist or tattooer?
I say tattooer. I mean, either one is fine. I don't really consider myself much of like a fine artist. Like,
Dude, you do some good work, man.
I don't have like a point of view.
Yeah.
with-
Okay,
do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
kind of get what you're saying.
I see, like, you know, tattoos as they are or were and have been through history, like the different, you know, styles of tattooing. And I just try my best to do them justice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get it.
Like how a contractor or carpenter would build something. You want to build it the best and the strongest that it can be.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that the image that I'm putting on your body speaks nothing about anything about me. I want it to be what it is and be just built so well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and man, I mean,
Quality.
Like, I can't imagine the weight that's on your shoulders whenever you're tattooing somebody, because this is lit. It might be something
you get
very
used to it. When you're first starting out, it's pretty heavy, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, when you're doing it, you know, I've been tattooing for 12 years now, so you know, it's just it's with anything. Like I couldn't imagine, working in the media. Like I'm terrible with words.
Dude, well, I'm just putting something so meaningful on somebody's body forever, and you have one chance to do it.
I mean,
it just blows my mind, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're changing somebody's body forever, and it is, it has some gravity to it, but, ultimately, how long do we live?
It's true.
I mean, the Mona Lisa's still here. These are going to be gone.
Yeah, unless they can put them on the robots whenever we transform into them or something. Who knows? You might be tattooing robots in a few years.
Or make an AI me and put it into a robot. And that way I can tattoo people forever.
What if you could have the AI, like you be somewhere else and you tattoo somebody else that has that piece of equipment?
Replicates my hand movements.
Yeah, in a completely different spot.
I could tattoo somebody in New Zealand or something.
Or the person that spoke to you in Australia. Dude,
right.
hey, we're going to get in touch with Elon Musk. We're going to tell him about these ideas, and we're putting a patent on it. We're going to make some money.
That's it.
But, dude, Matt, I just want to, well, first of all, thank you for your time today, of course, but also thank you for...
Thanks for having me.
All the awesome stuff that you're doing in our community. I mean, you're a saint, dude. And I'm glad that there's people like you in this world.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, it's just a little something I can do. Hopefully it inspires somebody to do something.
So for anybody out there that may want something covered up or just maybe wanting some work from you, where do they go to get it done?
I've got Instagram. You can message me on there. It's just Matt_Bartley. Facebook, Matt Bartley. I've got like my personal page, and I got like a like page. I don't know why I have two. I made a business one because I exceeded 5,000 friends on my personal one some years ago, and then I hated the way it was, so I tried to convert it back, and then now I'm just stuck with two.
Social media is tricky,
crazy,
man.
But yeah, you can hit me up on Facebook. You can call the shop, Sacred Mountain Tattoo. They'll put you in touch with me. I'm easy to find.
Matt, thanks again, brother.
Thanks, bud.